What's going on, guys? Playseat back in with a brand new video. We are here for our Nations Cup race at the Tokyo Expressway, the East Outer Loop. Basically, if you guys have never raced on this track, it is a drafting galore. Basically, the main thing that you're gonna want to do when you're on this race is just stay behind the slipstream, as you have a very long straightaway on this racetrack. And that's going to be the key to winning this race. On top of that, not only just following the slipstream is going to be the way to win this race, but you also need to have a good qualifying position, because if you get stuck in the back and you're just fighting the entire time, you're basically going to be losing a ton of time to the leaders as we jump up to the points. So coming to the points here, we're going to be fighting for 238 points if we get first place. We'll see if we can do that as we now jump into the beginning. So if you guys haven't yet, we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So if you guys really enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video, as it really helps out the channel when you guys do so. Alright, so let's jump past this intro and talk about this race. So the strategy for this race was a no stop, as we are in the rain, starting on the intermediate tires. The fuel levels actually didn't go down, so we didn't have to worry about fuel or tires. So it was going to be a no stop when doing this race. As you can see, we are starting in 12th position for the start of this race. As we are getting the countdown now, we get our 3, 2, 1, and we are a go. So now we are in 12th, right behind the Porsche that is in 11th. The majority of the cars that were picked on here was the Peugeot GT, as we are in our Ford GT heading down the straightaway. Now we're right behind the Porsche as we move on to the outside, try to get to slipstream of 10th place to get a really good run coming down the straightaway. We're able to make an easy overtake around the Porsche as we come down the straightaway now. Heading into turn number 1, we try to brake as late as we can. We actually brake a little too late, clip the wall right there as the car also behind us hits the wall. But we actually don't lose a lot of time. As you can see, there's another car that's on the inside that almost spun out. And we're promoted into 11th as we are coming past turn number 2. So coming down this straightaway here, that's going to lead us into the S section of the track. We're right behind him as we try to back out here, not get too close to him, as it's too early to start fighting. As we get a little tap from behind, heading into this braking zone. Brake right after the 100-meter board, going to this left-hander. We actually get tapped from behind. We hit the wall, and 11th place gets ahead of us. You can see right here on the replay, he gets a tap on us, and we lose 11th place as we are demoted back into 12th place as we head into the end of this straight S zone. So coming into sector number 3, 11th actually hits the wall there, and we have too much momentum coming out of that turn. We make contact with 11 as he has a 1.5 second penalty. So that's one thing you also have to be worried about, is these barriers, if you hit them at a really fast pace, you're basically going to get a 1.5 second penalty. As we make contact with him a little bit, he actually gets another second penalty. Not sure what happened there as we head into the final turn. There's a gaggle of cars fighting us. There's one car that actually spins out there, so we gain a position. As we go to the replay here, you see 9th place brakes very late, out brakes himself, runs into the back of 8th place, tries to go back into the track, and you see 9th place actually gets spun out there, as we're able to make an easy overtake there as we come out of the turn. Coming down the straightaway now to the end of lap number 1, we're on the left-hand side of the Peugeot, and he actually outpaces us as we go down the straightaway, heading down to the start-finish line. We get to a slipstream right here as we fast forward down the straightaway. As you can see how long the straightaway is, all the way from the last corner to the first corner. As we try to make a move on the inside of 10th, we are able to do so here as we make a little bit of contact. 9th place has a 4.0 second penalty, so that's going to be very helpful for us, as we're just got to stay right behind him and just overtake him down on the penalty zone as we head into the S's. Coming down to the S's, we make a little bit of contact from 11th. We run into the wall, and we actually lose a little bit of position, or we actually lose a position there. We're actually going to lose another position as we go down into 12th, right behind the Canadian. So coming out of this right-hander here, we're going to head into the final part of the lap here. Coming down to the final 2 corners, 10th place has to serve his 4-second penalty. We make the overtake, and we are promoted back into 11th as we jump into lap number 3. So coming into lap number 3, we're heading down the straightaway into turn number 1. Actually, I'll brake myself. Didn't even try to make a move here, but luckily 10th place braked very early, and we get very loose coming out, almost spin out there as we come out of turn number 1. But we were able to make the overtake as we are now in 10th place. So coming into the end of lap number 3 now, we're right behind 9th place as we try to get a wide exit. Not sure why everybody was taking a really inner exit off the final corner, as I felt like coming out wide was really helpful, as it would just give us a lot of momentum as we come down into the straightaway. Coming down the straightaway here, we're bump drafting 9th place as we're trying to catch up to the cars ahead of us. But you can see 11th has different plans as he tries to brake very late, runs it to the back of 9th place. 9th place runs into the barriers, and he actually gets a 1.5 second penalty. I give 10th place a bump of displeasement there as we come into turn number 2. And 9th place is going to have to serve his 1.5 second penalty at the end of the lap as we follow them both into the S's part of the track. So coming towards the end of the lap now of lap number 4, we're still right behind 10th place as he gets a really bad exit. We almost lose it there coming out of that turn. As we come into the final 2 turns, we're trying to stay right behind him as 9th place has to serve his penalty. We brake as late as we can. 9th and 10th go side by side as they head into the final corner, but 9th actually outbrakes himself. And we're able to cut to the inside and make the overtake on him as we come out very wide off the final turn, heading down the straightaway now. So going down the straightaway, we're right behind 9th place, as the plan here is just to bump draft him as best as I can, gain as much time as we can onto the front cars right there. As you can see them in the distance, but they have a long train, so they're able to gain a lot more speed as they come down the straightaway. But now we see we're getting a little bit closer as we can actually see their names. As you can see 8th place's name, and there's 3 cars ahead of us that we're trying to just catch up to now as we come into the end of lap number 5. So coming to the end of lap number 5, we're on the final 2 corners here, and you can see that we're very close now to 8th place as 9th place almost goes out wide and spins out. We're able to gather it all up together, but that's going to lose us a little bit of momentum coming down the straightaways. You can see they're still fighting with each other ahead of us. Coming to the end of lap number 6, again, we're heading into the final 2 corners, but there's a car right ahead of us that has a penalty. That's going to benefit us as we should be able to get into their toe now as we come into the final part of the racetrack. Coming to the final 2 turns here, we're still right behind 9th place. There's actually a yellow flag as we head into the 2 right-handers here. You see the 7th place, the 4GT, actually, not sure what happened here as he's actually spun out, and a little bit of lag caused some very weird stuff. As you can see, we're jumping into 5th place here. He actually bumps into 4th. 4th punts out the GT, and then we get the lag, so not sure what happened after that. But we were able to make ourselves into 8th place as we are coming down into the end of lap number 6. So jumping up a little forward now, the plan is still the same as the top 6 cars are actually able to pull away from us because of that lag and that incident that happened on lap number 6. So our plan right here with 7th place is just to bump draft him down the straightaway, stay right behind him, work with him, and just try to see if we can catch up to these guys ahead of us. As I didn't want to battle with him, as we can see we're still bump drafting him as we head into turn number 1, but I wasn't going to pull out or anything like that. I just wanted to keep working with him, staying right behind him, putting in consistent but clean fast laps so that we can try to catch up to these guys. As we come out of turn number 1, we get a little bit loose, but no harm, no foul done. As we come into turn number 2 here, we are still right behind him as we come into lap number 10. So jumping into lap number 10, we're right behind 7th as we're still doing our plan here, as we're kind of catching up to 6th, 5th, and 4th as we are just bump drafting him as we come out of here. But he runs into the wall. We get a little loose coming out of turn number 1, and we break momentum here as we actually lose a little bit of time to 7th place. So it's going to be very critical to try to catch up to 7th place as we jump a little more into the lap. Coming to the end of the S's here, we're coming to the final part of the lap as we come into the final 2 turns. You see 7th place is so far ahead of us as we bump into the wall again. Are we going to be able to catch up to him as we come into the final 2 corners? Let's see if we could do that. If we come down past the penalty zone, going into the final 2 corners, brake right before the 150 meter board. We try to brake as late as we can so we can try to get a good exit and try to get into the slipstream of 7th place. But you can see right there, we're actually getting a ton of time on them. As you can see, 2 cars actually spin out. And there's a yellow flag. There's 1 car actually has 2 cars have a penalty, and we're able to overtake both of them as we jump up into 6th place. But there's a car ahead of them that has a penalty. As let's see what happened here. 3rd place gets punted out, hits the wall, and then 5th place just outbrakes himself a little bit. They both make contact as they come out of the final turn. And you can see 3rd place and 5th are trying to get back into the gas, and they both spin out. As they both come out of the final turn, they both spin out, and there we go past them. And we're up into 6th place as we come into the final lap now. So coming down this long straightaway again, we're going to try to catch up to 5th and 4th and 3rd. As you can see, one of them has a penalty, so that gives us a good chance to try to catch up to them. But 7th place is catching up to us as he's getting in our slipstream. We come into turn number 1. We try to brake as late as we can, but 7th place brakes a little later than us, and he's actually able to make the move right there. As we jump up into the replay here, you see he brakes very late, just dives it into the inside. We make a little bit of contact. That was probably my fault. I didn't mean to pinch him down, but We make a little bit of contact as we come out of turn number 1. So now our goal is try to stay right behind him. As you see, he has a 2.5 second penalty. So that should be good for us as we come into the final part of the racetrack. So coming down to the S's now, we're trying to just stay right behind him, stay in the slipstream, but not push the car further than it needs to go, as we don't want to run into this wall, accidentally give ourselves a penalty or slow us down. As we brake very, very early coming to this left-hander and this right-hander. 6th place is getting very, very loose as he comes out of that right-hander. We're getting a ton of time at him as we come down this sweeping right-hander that's going to lead us into the left-hander here. You see now the top 3 cars ahead of us all have a penalty, so this is going to be a very interesting finish as we still don't have a penalty. So we should be hopefully able to get past all 3 of these cars if we could get close enough. As we come into the final part of the track now, you see 6th place gets wide, hits the wall, so we're catching up to him as we come into the final part of the lap here. We're in his slipstream now, so it should help us going down into the final 2 corners. As we come down here into the final sector, all 3 of them have to serve their penalties. We're able to gain 1 position there, try to brake as late as we can right after the 150 meter board. And 5th place actually outbrakes himself, so we try to keep him to the inside, try to get a great exit coming out of the final corner. And he actually pinches us down, so we get a really bad exit here as he gets a better exit. But 4th place runs into the wall, and he has a penalty now. So we're going to stay right behind him on the slipstream as we're going to be a drag race down to the final corner, or not the final corner, but to the start-finish line. We're right behind them both as we try to get into the slipstream up 4th. Are we going to be able to pass both of them as we come down the slipstream and to the final part? No, we finished in 5th place. Very, very excited race as we all track race to the end. And we were able to jump from 12th place all the way to 5th place. Very exciting race, great race. Love racing in the rain here at GT Sport, but that was very exciting there as our plan and our strategy worked. We just stayed right behind the car, just kept working with him, didn't race with him, and just try to catch up to these top cars, and we were able to make that strategy work. So very, very proud as we were the only Ford GT that was able to finish in the top 7. So everyone else picked the Peugeot. So very proud of our results there. You see we gained 7 positions as we started in 12th. So very, very happy for this finish. Now, anyways, if you guys really enjoyed that content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video as it really helps out the channel. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Peace.